when you are experiencing something like that, you're really not alone. There are other people out there.
You feel terribly alone. And,
you feel alone, but you're not.
I feel like the only people that understand this are people that have been through it. And I think it's important for survivors to stick together and understand that other people are going through this. They're not speaking of it, you know. And
right.
You know, that's how I met Courtney at one of my third meetings. And you know, she's like my partner now.
That's
and
great.
we like, you know, we're sharing this burden, and we have like a buddy system, and it really helps. And I want women to realize that there's help out there, and there's not a lot in Staten Island, unfortunately, but we need to change that.
I called him up. I said, "You're a criminal. You know, I'm going to make sure you go to jail. I'm going to tell all your friends." So that made him very angry. So that night, you know, this is a couple months later, with my restraining order, I was laying in my bed, and I was supposed to be on my medication because the school practitioner had prescribed me 4 medications: 1 to stay awake, 1 to go to sleep, 1 for anxiety, and 1 for depression. So basically, I need a pill for every single part of the day. And I didn't take my sleeping medication, thank God. And I heard something at the door, and I just heard like a shuffling outside. So I knew exactly something was up because I just told him off that day. And it was, you know, about 5 in the morning. So I jumped up, and I ran to the phone, and I called 911, and I said, "I think somebody's outside my house." So they told me, "Go outside and look." So I was like, "You go outside and look." And I was like, "I don't really want to go outside and look, but like, well, you have to tell us who it is." And I was like, "Listen, my ex-boyfriend has a restraining order. I know it's him. Can you just come, like, seriously?" And they were like, "Well, just verify his identity." So as I'm walking towards the window, a brick goes through my window and shatters the glass, and it's him, and he's on the other side, and he's like hysterical. So he begins to climb through my window like a maniac, coming towards me. He slashes his arm on the glass. He's bleeding all over my couch. And I run in the bathroom, and I take the dog with me. And we're just, you know, locked in the bathroom like 2 hostages. And the whole time I'm on the phone with 911. And thank God they're recording it, because this is the only thing the cops didn't lose. So they hear him on the other side of the door. He's saying, I'm hurt, please let me in. Look at my blood." And he stuck his fingers under the door, and they were bloody. "I need you to help me. Don't do this to me. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me?" And something about that phrase just always got me, that I was doing it to him, always, you know? So I said, "Joe, the cops are coming. You have to get out of here. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna go to jail. I'm pressing charges." And he was like, "Just talk to me. Open the door. I promise I won't hurt you." And I was like, "I don't think so." So I waited. And finally the cops came, and they said, "If you don't open the door, we're going to break the door down." So I said, "Joe, they're coming in, they're going to break the door down, you better go." And he said, "Hide me." So I said, "Okay." I opened the door, and I was like, "Go under the bed." So he went under the bed, and I let the cops in. I was like, "He's under the bed." I was like, "He's under the bed." So the cops find him immediately, and he's like, "What did you do? Why did you do this?" And I was like, "You broke my window. Are you gonna kill me? Am I supposed to, you know, willingly be killed by you?" So they were fighting with him, and they had him, and they pegged him on the bed because he was putting up a fight. And he just kept, like, as they were handcuffing him, he just kept looking at me and screaming, "Why are you doing this to me? What?" And it was just like a nightmare, like a serious horror movie. I've never experienced anything like it. I've never been punched in the face before. I've never been beat up before. And this is just, it's like a horror movie, basically. And I just sat there and I watched him, and I said, "I don't know, you did this to me." So they put him in a police car. And I told the officer, "I have a restraining order, so please take him away." And he said, "Well, you know," I quote, "you really gonna go through with this? I mean, he's your boyfriend, you're probably gonna get back with him anyway." And I said, "I would really appreciate it if you did your job and took him to jail." And he said, "Well, you know what, show me the restraining order." So I start looking for my restraining order. I don't really know where it is right now because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And as I'm looking for it, my phone starts ringing. And it's him, and he's in the police car, and he's calling me. And I'm like, you know, "Hey, officer, he's calling me from your car." I'm like, "You know, you're gonna do something about that? That's harassment. Like, this is obvious." And he said, "That's not him. That's impossible." So I said, "Look at the phone." So he looked at the phone. "That's not him." I said, "It says Joseph, you know, last name there." I was like, "It's him." So I picked up and I said, "Hello," and he said, "If you tell him anything, I'm gonna kill you." So I said, "Okay, hold on." So I put the cop on the phone, and the cop was like, "Hello?" Nobody's there. And I was like, okay. Called 3 more times. Finally, I find the restraining order, because they're not arresting him without the restraining order for some reason. He sees it, he's like, "Listen, you sure you want to go through with this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm pretty sure I want to go through with it." So he said, okay. They arrested him, they took him down to the station. The police officers wrote in the report that they found him sleeping in my bed and that I let him in. They didn't mark the fact that he broke my window. They didn't charge him for breaking and entering. They didn't do anything. So I got even more depressed. I felt like the world was against me. I felt like there's no hope in justice, and it's the only thing I've ever believed in.
I've had a really tough life, and I don't go around, abusing people.
No.
I always have hope that there's good out there, and, I just don't understand how that could be an excuse. I mean, there's consequences, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You have consequence for your actions. And that's why women need to start pressing charges and dealing with this issue. It's not okay, and that's the bottom line. Nobody should be treated like that. Not animals, not women, not men.
Children, not anybody.
So they have to start realizing that. And
there's no excuse for violence under any circumstances. I don't care how annoyed or angry you get with somebody for whatever reason. There's no excuse for violence. There's no excuse for treating a situation with violence. There's always a way to straighten something out by sitting down and just talking it out. Mostly it's women, right, who are the victims.
Mostly women.
Mostly women. Although we cannot say that that's completely, because there are men. I mean, right next to the article about you and your group was another article saying man beaten, girlfriend charged. I mean, women have been known to beat up on their significant others as well. It's just not as prevalent as men doing it, or not as talked about as men doing it.
And anyone can come to these meetings. You don't have to be a woman.
That's right. Man or woman
and
can come to the meetings.
One man that we spoke with a lot. He was a high school teacher. He was very concerned with the violence going on in the halls of the high schools. And, we weren't aware of this. And, so then we also have men who've come in who experienced this with their family. So there's all types of situations.
Say it once! Say it once! Say it again! Say it again! No excuse! No excuse! For violent men! For violent men!
Take Back the Night, an annual event to speak out against abuse. New York One's Mara Montalbano has the story.
I was a victim, and I am now a survivor, 17 months and 6 days, abuse-free.
Lizzie Alicia was one of the more than 1 million women who were abused by an intimate partner in this country last year. These days, she openly shares her story of the emotional, physical, and sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of her husband for 16 years. She says she tells her story hoping it will encourage others to speak up and get the support they need.
If you don't have someone that can relate to your story, someone to lean on, someone you can cry on, then it just makes it a lot tougher to get by.
According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime. Many local survivors shared their stories at the College of Staten Island's Take Back the Night initiative Monday. Organizer Bianca Dimitri was also a victim of an abusive boyfriend. A student at CSI, she says she relives the abuse when she sees her attacker, also a student, on campus. In an effort to regain her power and help others, she started the Fearless Females, a campus support group for victims of domestic violence.
If I don't do it, I'll go into a deep depression, and I feel like a victim, and I'm tired of being a victim. I just want to be the voice for the women who can't speak up, and I feel like I have the power to do that.
While the majority of domestic violence victims statistically are women, many men join the walk to Take Back the Night to bring awareness to the fact that men can also fall victim to this crime.
I thought it would never happen to me because I'm a guy, you never hear of it, but absolutely since I've been speaking out about it, I've heard a lot more cases of it. So it is out there. We just have to get the people to talk about it.
For more information on the Fearless Female Support Group, you can email fearlessfemales@gmail.com. In Willowbrook, Mara Montalbano, New York 1.